in class, sitting there with my father right now. He comes from an area of Atlanta by the name of Kirkwood, which is on the east side of Atlanta. That's about 10 minutes from downtown. Surrounding areas are East Lake and an area by the name of Edgewood that you guys might be familiar with. Back in 1983, because of the area of Atlanta, there was an event that took place where my father actually witnessed someone get shot and killed outside of a nightclub. And this event took place because of the temperature of the area at that time. So I'm here to interview him about that event. So question number one is tell me about that event. What exactly happened outside of that nightclub when you saw this gentleman get shot and killed?
Well, I saw a little altercation. A buddy of mine was at the nightclub. Saw an altercation. The guy, one of the guys pulled out a gun and was probably about 10, 15 feet from the victim. Shot the victim approximately 5 times.
Mm, mm. Were they like how did that happen? Were they arguing or what happened?
It was an argument pertaining to a female.
Okay.
And the female was actually, I think she was dating both of the guys at that time, and I think that's what simulated the accident or the actual altercation.
Okay. Why do you think that happened? You think it was strictly because of the female dating both guys, or was it because the guys maybe had a fight before that, or?
It could have been either one, but I think it was basically due to the fact that the female was dating both of the guys at that time, and I think they couldn't decide on who was going to be the winner over the female, so they got into an altercation, and it resulted in
the guy getting shot and killed.
Right.
Wow. Okay, so where were you? Like, where exactly were you when that event took place?
I was probably 10, maybe 15 yards from the person. Heard the altercation begin, and I saw the shots being fired at the person.
So you were pretty close to when that happened.
About 15 yards away.
Man, that's crazy. So as I stated before, because of the temperature of that environment, events like this happen frequently. So my question for you that is how can people reach out to people of that community who were affected? Like how can us as social workers reach out to people that may be affected by these things that happen on a regular basis in that environment?
Well, the most important thing is to make sure that the kids are raised properly. And there's some way of communicating with those kids. And I think at that point, when those kids become adults, they'll be able to reason and to answer questions and to come to a better understanding versus using using firearms or something like that, something that's going to result in death.
Okay. So you mentioned about the kids. So is there a way we can kind of build a trust with the kids? Because it's kind of difficult to take someone of a different community that you may not have grown up with or may not have been involved with that type of person and then develop a close relationship with them when you really don't know anything about them. So is there a way we can develop prior trust with that community?
Best way to do that is communicate. If you can communicate with that community and have some source of making sure that positive messages are relayed to kids and to families, I think that will benefit both the child and the parents in that community.
Okay. So how can we use that trust to probably create support groups or anything? You still think it's communication? Or?
It's strictly communication.
Okay.
It's the biggest problem with a lot of kids is that they can't communicate with their parents, or they don't feel comfortable enough to communicate with their parents.
Okay. So what are some of the challenges that you feel like social workers might face in terms of trying to develop some type of allyship network with these kids? And allyship just pertaining to being allies with this certain population or being friends with this certain population. Like what are some of the challenges that you think we might face trying to develop friendships with this certain population?
The toughest thing is going to be being able to talk to those parents and have those parents understand that there's a need for communication between the social worker and that kid or those children. Because if that doesn't take place, then and the parents also have to be on the same page with that social worker. Because if they're not going to come to a positive understanding about what that child needs.
Okay. So you think it's the way to overcome these challenges is for everybody to be on one accord, be on the same page?
You must be on one accord because it should be a unified mission. It can't be an individual. One person feels this way about this issue. It's got to be a unified mission. That way you can come to a unified agreement on what's needed for that particular child.
Okay.
When that child becomes an adult, of course, that child will be able to react and respond in a better way versus something resulting in firearms or something resulting in a fight or something along those lines.
Okay. So now you guys have seen how we can probably communicate with people who come from oppressed groups as social workers and make a difference in communities that we may not be comfortable with going in because we've never been in them before. But these are ways that we can impact oppressed people. So that concludes the interview.